It is Jackie Buntan joining me, strawweight sensation. She is coming off of a big win at One Fight Night 20, which is an all-female card dedicated to the badass women on the One Championship roster for International Women's Day. So Jackie, thank you so much for taking the time. We're here in Los Angeles in your home gym where you've put in work for many, many years. So tell me how you're feeling after such a great win at One Fight Night 20.
Yeah, I feel really happy to start the year off early with a win, of course. That's always a good feeling. My biggest thing was starting the year off with a fight pretty early because I had a hiatus last year. I wanted to have an active year this year, so I'm hoping for 2 more fights. And having fought this month in March sets the tone nicely to get 2 more in before the year ends. So I'm happy to have already done it.
And you got to share a card with your teammate, Janet Todd. It was her retirement fight. She, very focused in the kickboxing department. And you've said before that you also want to be a 2-sport champion. So first off, tell me about the experience being able to share the card with her and experience, her last fight alongside her.
Yeah, it was just such a special event, special moment, period. It's funny, like when I had my first professional fight in One, those were still during COVID time. So they were having 2 cards in one day. One was live, the second one was filmed, and then they would show it on air like a week later. So Janet was with me and her card was going to be shown like a week later. So it was such a full circle moment to have had my first professional fight with her by my side and having her last professional fight. We get to be on the same card together. It's such a special moment.
And what are you guys like off of the mats? Because obviously, inside the ring, you guys are beasts. But when I see you guys in interviews, you're both very almost soft-spoken and laid back. I know you guys went and got tattoos together. So like, what are you guys like? Are you like spiritual, or are you, what is your guys' vibe when you guys are off the
I would say Jana's quite laid back as well. It's very, I think maybe that's just living here in the South Bay, very easy, slow kind of lifestyle. Kind of the same. I could be kind of a homebody, and I know she could kind of be the same way. So just like things to be able to relax and enjoy the downtime, nothing crazy.
And you guys both have 2 adorable dogs that come here every now and then. I'm a little bummed they're not here right now. I can always use a little extra oxytocin release. Talk about the friendship that you've had with her. Has it been since you started training at 11 when you guys met, or was it a little bit later on in your career when you met Janet?
Yeah, it was a little bit later on, not that far off. So I think I first started training with her when I was 14 years old. Maybe, 14 years old. She started coming back to the gym because she was at Boxing Works, and then I think she had to leave for to finish school and came back. And when she came back, that's when we started training together, and that's kind of where things started picking up more consistently. And you kind of just okay, we were same size, both building our skill set together and both competing. So that's kind of where it started.
And oftentimes people will say, since there's not as many girls in the martial arts scene in general, when you don't have a female partner, it's like, oh, well, if you practice with guys, that's actually a good thing because you'll get better working with the guys because they're, more athletic or this and that. But sometimes I think it's actually better when you have a plethora of women to work with, because the woman can be a little bit tougher on you. Whereas sometimes if you're training with guys all the time, they might, hold back on their punches a little bit. So is that something that really helped elevate your game, having a big roster of girls that you can train with?
Oh, 100%. Again, I'm so grateful to have such a big girl squad here and all of them competing. And sometimes it's good to work with a male partner. They give you good work, specific work you need. But yeah, it's nice having, females similar size to you, around the same size, because you guys can both go the same percentage in terms of power. You're both similar body type. So things are just more kind of realistic in terms of, especially when you're competing.
The entire One Fight Night 20 card was centered around the badass women roster that One Championship has. It aired and was live on International Women's Day. So the introduction was basically all the experiences that you guys have had being involved in martial arts. So can you kind of take me down what stereotypes are coming into a sport that is a little bit more male dominated, a little bit more aggressive?
Yeah, I mean, it's still a male dominated sport. It's still women, entering the sport and more women competing, which I love to see. Especially here in the States, I feel like we get a little bit more sense of equality compared to, other countries and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, coming into such a male-dominated sport, it's so easy for males to write you off and not take you seriously, or write you off and, put you at whatever level they think you'll be at and say that you'll stay at that level. So it's all about, proving people wrong, breaking boundaries.
And what do you think has to continue happening in order to growing the sport for women specifically?
Yeah, I'm all about, one thing that's already happening is more women are joining, which I love to see. And the biggest thing that I hear from women who are still, apprehensive about joining a combat gym is, intimidation, because it's just such a aggressive thing. And when you walk into a combat sports gym, most likely than not, you'll see more males than females. So that kind of holds people back. But there's more females entering the sport. More women are kind of more inspired and more comfortable to join the gym, especially with specific coaches making the gym open and welcome to females and males. And I'm all about people doing this as a hobby. If you're doing it for a hobby, that's great. If you're competing, that obviously sheds more light on female athletes within the sport. So seeing more girls in competition would, I think, also like take it even higher.
And now looking at your own career, you are killing it in one championship. You're obviously a big name who is going to be someone who is going to fight for the title eventually again. But what do you want next for yourself? I know that you're just coming off of a win and you don't want to think about what's next, but I know there's even some consideration on, becoming a two-sport champion. So are you looking for a Muay Thai fight next? Are you wanting a kickboxing one next? Or, you're just going to let whatever is offered to you come?
Yeah, I think this year, especially after taking a little break, I came into this year with like a mindset of, I want to do what I want to do. And I would love to get into the kickboxing circuit. So my next fight, hopefully soon, I could be competing for kickboxing, hopefully a kickboxing belt, because there's still no one has a kickboxing belt in the strawweight division. So that would be a dream if I'm able to be in line for that next.
And I know now that Janet has retired, correct me if I'm wrong, but I saw online that you might even be considering atom weight. Or
no,
okay.
I'm not going down in weight. That's for sure. I'm happy. I'm healthy, comfortable at straw weight. So I'm sticking to straw weight. There's still plenty of work I need to do in my division anyway.
And this last fight that you had was at catch weight 130. One is different from other promotions where they really are stricter on the hydration stuff. And I know that you've worked with Tyler Minton in the past. That's a sport in itself, being able to, especially as Filipino girls, we like our food too.
Of course.
So being able to eat. So how has it been, finding the weight class that you want and being able to stick with staying in that range, because, you can't really cut weight like other promotions do.
Right. Yeah. It was nice. The end of my amateur career, I was already fighting at 125, but I was a lot younger and I still had to cut a good amount of weight to make 125. And it wasn't until, I turned professional, started working with Tyler, that I was able to get the walk around weight bit lower, educate myself on nutritional, on what I should be eating. So that definitely helped. I'm not cutting as much weight. And for the catch weight, I had time off last year, and this fight was pretty early in the year. I was walking around a bit heavier than usual. So I wanted to compete. I was like, okay, let's make it happen. Let's find a way to make it happen. Let's ask for catch weight. That way I'm still able to compete. I know I'll make weight and hydration. So I'm happy that Martine agreed on the catch weight too.
Yes, Martine, definitely a little bit taller than you, but you were able to, close the distance and really show out, get the unanimous decision win. And she was a fighter coming in with, a little bit of hype with her win streak going on. So when you were looking at that matchup going in after a little bit of a hiatus, what was the most intimidating factor for you heading into that fight?
Honestly, I wouldn't even say that it was her that was the intimidation. It was just mostly, and it wasn't too much. And I think it would just be like having that little hiatus last year. And just time off from the ring. I was just kind of like, okay, like I hope I don't have ring rust. I don't think I did. I definitely had instances where for instance, my first professional fight with Wonder Girl, like I hadn't fought in almost 2 years, given COVID and fights falling through. So I kind of compared it to that. I was like, okay, I had maybe 9-10 months of inactivity. This is nothing compared to like 2 years.
What was the fight that you were most nervous for?
Oh man, the fight I was most nervous for, it's so funny because I would on paper you would think it'd be like the world title fight. There's nerves going into every fight, but for whatever reason, I think when I fought Danny, that was my third fight in one championship. I had the pink shorts on and with my performance, you probably would not even tell that I was nervous, but the mind does crazy things when you're in the heat of the moment. And for whatever reason, nerves were running pretty high that night.
Wow. And what is your favorite technique to kind of handle nerves and calming yourself down, getting into the right mindset that you need to be in?
Yeah, so I have different books I like to go back to, sports psychology books, but the main takeaway is like once I feel those nerves, I just embrace it. I don't try to shut it off. I used to do that, but that pretty much just, you're basically just lying to yourself when you're doing that. So I just embrace it. I just tell myself, okay, I feel this way because I'm excited. Number one, I feel this way because I'm about to do something crazy. And I feel this way because I've been training, preparing for 2 months, and I get to finally do something that I've been preparing for so long. So I just tell myself those 3 things, and yeah, just embrace those nerves, embrace all the emotions.
How do you think your Filipino fam feels when you're getting ready for fighting? Like, do you think they're like stressed out when you're in fight camp? Do you think they only feel the stress during fight night? Because we know, us Filipino families, we have very loving relatives.
Oh, so. For sure. Fight night, they're definitely excited, but super nervous. But I've been doing this for so long, they know not to show it, because if they show it to me, then they're like, okay, we're going to stress her out. During fight camp though, it's mostly my mom. She's just kind of always worried about me. Like, are you eating enough? Do you need this? Do you need that? Do you need me to visit you? So it's all common stuff. But yeah, I'd say they're most stressed on fight night, especially before the fight, of course.
No, I completely understand that. And when you look at your sisters, they're obviously not fighters, but are they involved in combat sports at all? Do you try to, push them to learn some self-defense?
No, they all work out, but they're not fighters at all. 2 of them actually trained with me here at Boxing Works when we were at Hermosa Beach. When we were kids, like they were still teenagers and I was a kid, and they wanted to try it out for I think they lasted 2 months. And for me, I was like, okay, perfect. Like, this is my space. Get out of here. But they still remember moves. They still train. Like, if I always tell them I could hold pads for you if you want, but that's up to them if they want to do it.
And when we look back at one Fight Night 20, the co-main event had a storyline of 2 moms and mom power. You're only 26 years old, but Janet retired because she wants to start a family. So do you see yourself starting a family? Is that something that excites you, or do you, just view yourself as competing and focusing on different things?
I mean, yeah, in the future, I wouldn't say near future. I'm still young. I still have plenty of work that I have to accomplish, plenty of goals that I need to achieve. So yeah, in the moment, I'm just worried about my career and just staying consistent and being consistently on top.
I love that. I'm 26 as well, and I'm working my corporate job. I can see why people choose to be stay-at-home moms sometimes.
Right.
No, but I feel you on the same. I want to stay focused on my career and keep grinding. When you look at where you want to be in your career 5 years from today, where do you see yourself?
Definitely world champion, consistently defending that, and again, broaden my horizons, not only within martial arts, but we'll see whatever business ventures pop up next, whatever, sponsorship opportunities I could get and grow from there. And, definitely have interests outside of this. And I know when that time does come with retirement, it's not always going to be this, always going to be Muay Thai. So definitely want to broaden my horizons and see what I can get into in the future.
Do you have a dream sponsorship?
I think any athlete, but Nike would be amazing.
They would be so lucky to have you. That would be amazing. And also the photo shoots that you have done in the past, they're so cool. It's so awesome to see everything that you're doing. And I know that there is more to you than just boxing and fighting and grinding every day. You were here earlier training people as well. So when Jackie is not focused and in fight camp, what can we catch you doing?
I'm definitely a homebody, so I don't mind being at home, chilling with my dog or my boyfriend, but I'm also close to the beach. So biking to the beach a lot, or I'm at the beach. And I'm a foodie, so I always can only do this off of fight camp, but I call up my girls and we would go out and eat and hang out. So simple things, always the simple things.
In Thailand, when you were with Janet, I feel like you guys kind of had a nice moment to explore as well, and you guys got good tattoos together. And one of them is on your spine, stick and poke. Tell me about that experience and the inspiration you got for that tattoo that is, Thai inspired.
Yeah, that's my second sakyan. I had my first one above the new one I got, and it was done by the same guy, which was really cool. When I went to Thailand in 2017, he did my first one. And yeah, like I mentioned, it wasn't in the cards. I knew going to Thailand, everyone always wants to get a sakyan, but I was like, nah, I don't really feel like getting one. And Janet mentioned it, I don't know, right after our fights, hey, do you want to get sakyans? I was like, yeah, whatever, let's do it. You're retiring, it'd be a memorable thing. So I knew I didn't want anything too big. I wanted to add on to the one I already had. So I was like, okay, let's do like, it's in Sanskrit. So it's like a nice little blessing and protection for everything really. And I had chose to do it down the spine, and it hurt a bit, but if you ever got a sakyan with the big needle, it just feels like, especially on the spine, it's like just like knocking your whole entire body. But luckily it was quick. I had a small one, so it wasn't too bad.
Yeah, I saw the picture of it, and you still had a little bit of bruising. I'm like, oh my gosh, that just seems like the most, like, I don't know, because I feel like when you go through big tattoos like that, it almost becomes like a spiritual experience because there's so much pain going on, and you just got done with a fight.
Oh yeah, I was like sweating profusely from the pain, and then my face was already swollen. So I was like, you know what, let's just do it. I'm already in it, might as well finish it.
And last but not least, I gotta get a message for all the Filipino fans out there that are supporting you. Us Filipino fans, we go die hard for our Filipino people.
Always.
So what's your special message?
I want to say thank you so much for the support, and it does not go unnoticed. Truly, I see it on Instagram. I'm rarely on Facebook, but I see people blasting my inbox on Facebook, and I know they're all from the Philippines. So thank you for the support. I do this for all you guys, and keep supporting.
We cannot wait to see you back in action. Jackie Buntan, thank you so much for the time, and we cannot wait to see you back in action.
Thank you.
If you enjoyed this episode of Beasts with Brains podcast, please check us out on Spotify, and don't forget to drop a like and send this to anyone that might also enjoy